On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player gets subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
I hope everyone had a wonderful Juneteenth, but Chicago, under, of course, the amazing Mayor Brandon Johnson, just another insane weekend of gunfire and death and injury, and a mayor that refuses, just outright refuses to do anything about it, anything of real substance. He's got plenty of ideas. None of them have done anything to curtail the carnage that goes on a weekly basis in Chicago. We're not even done yet. Not technically, Sunday is. It is a weekend day. So what's in store for Chicago this evening? To get those numbers up, 35 shot, 5 dead in weekend violence in Chicago. And it is astounding to me that this mayor has not been arrested. Gross negligence of duty resulting in death or physical harm, grave physical harm. If you do your job, if you have a job to do, and through your negligence somebody dies, at the very least there's a civil suit. But in many, many cases, if negligence can be proven, you can go to jail. You're a construction worker. You neglected to do something on that job site. Someone gets hurt or killed. You have some responsibility in that. How does a mayor who is given the job of part of their job is to keep your people in your city safe? You have tools to do this. The police department, the judicial system, you have all these things in place, and you refuse to use them to keep your people in your city safe. And people wind up getting killed and injured constantly at an insane rate, and nothing happens to you. You get behind that podium and you give your speeches like everything's going great. You tell people your ideas and your plans that you'll put into action that are supposed to take care of these issues, and they do not take care of them. And in a case like Brandon Johnson, Mayor Johnson in Chicago, I see criminal liability in this guy. He is responsible criminally because he refuses to do what needs to be done. Allow the police to do their job. Don't worry so much that you're going to lose your street cred because you're a black mayor, and a lot of these teen takeovers and gang shootings. There was a mass shooting. 12 people were shot in Chicago in one shooting, drive-by shooting this weekend, Friday night. Happy Juneteenth. And this guy just refuses to do anything about it because he doesn't want to lose that credibility he has through nothing more than skin color. Do what needs to be done. You know what? I guarantee you there would be so many residents, black residents of Chicago, that would love it if you made their neighborhoods a little safer instead of having gangs roving around that have complete control of the streets and a horrible control of their firearms because they're constantly hitting grandma or a little kid. And he doesn't do anything about it. Here's the story. AC-14 is the story about the shootings over the course of the weekend so far in Chicago.
This was supposed to be a joyous time. Neighbors say many people had gathered to celebrate Juneteenth when things took a violent turn. Surveillance video capturing what appears to be a barrage of gunfire. Shortly after, you see people running for cover. Chicago police were called to 95th in Princeton after a mass shooting around 11 Friday night in the city's Princeton Park neighborhood. At least 13 people were injured.
244 West 95th Street. I need crowd control.
Chicago police say a red SUV pulled up to a large crowd. Investigators say two suspects began shooting from inside the car before taking off.
There's approximately 25 shell casings, both rifle and pistol rounds, from 243 West 95th all the way to the end of the block on Princeton.
The victims' ages range from 17 to 47 years old and were taken to different hospitals. A 26-year-old man was last listed in critical condition. The majority of the victims are expected to recover from their injuries.
All of a sudden, you hear this loud boom, 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 boom. I can hear the rapid fire of gunfire. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh no, can't be. And next thing I know,
it happens all the time.
You hear the sirens.
Michael Blount was home at the time of the shooting. He says he's disappointed it happened at a time when people were looking to celebrate the holiday.
It was a shame that it happened on Juneteenth. That's what it's supposed to be about, celebration, not what just happened. You know, that was just purely wrong.
A motive for the shooting is unclear. Police have not made any arrests.
Of course.
Alderman Anthony Beale, who represents the 9th Ward, saying in part, in a matter of seconds, an ordinary summer night was shattered by gunfire. No one should have to wonder if they or someone they love will make it home safely.
Yeah, no one should have to wonder that. Unless, of course, you have a mayor like Brandon Johnson, who refuses to do anything about this carnage. No motive. Really? You think it might be gang related? Call me crazy. Am I really out on a limb here? Am I speculating a little too much to say that a drive-by shooting with rifle and pistol shooting into a crowd may have been gang related? Interesting. I'll have to look into that. And, well, thank God no one was killed, but boy, that's a lot of injuries. That is a lot of injuries. And again, I credit, in some of these cases, the idea that so many people are shot and so few are actually killed these days. I think a lot of it is the amazing trauma centers that Chicago has. These guys came from, some of these doctors were medics in actual wars, so they're used to, bodies shredded, ripped apart by gunfire, and they know how to patch these people up. But do something, Mayor Johnson. He posted a couple of things on social media. He's heartbroken. He goes, I am heartbroken by the violence in Princeton Park last night. What should have been a night of celebration and community reflection for Juneteenth was shattered by a horrific act of violence. My thoughts and prayers, everyone, thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their loved ones. His thoughts and prayers shattered, heartbroken, but not enough, not quite heartbroken enough to put curfews in place, to take help from the federal government, like Donald Trump, the National Guard, have them come in there, but Pritzker won't allow that, and do what needs to be done. There is a terrible problem with violence in certain areas of Chicago. I know it's not all of Chicago, but it's the usual places, the usual suspects, a lot of gang-related violence, and this guy talks about the YMCA. That's what Brandon Johnson says. Oh, we'll open up the YMCAs at night so these kids can go to the YMCA instead of being out on the street committing violence. Do you think these gang members give a crap about the YMCA? That they'd go there because they don't have something else to do? They have stuff to do. going out and shooting their ops, shooting other gang members from other gangs. They're not going to give up the life. I'm in the game. They're not giving up the game for YMCA. They need the police to constantly be rousting them. Stop and frisk. Say goodbye to your gun, and you're going to jail, and we will prosecute. And that's how you deal with this. We saw it happen in New York City under Giuliani and his various police commissioners over the course of his tenure as mayor of New York City did the job they needed to do. And New York went from a horribly violent place under the Dinkins administration to amazing that it's such a large city, New York, and had such a low number of yearly murders. And that is because the mayor was doing his job and using the resources he had available, his police department, to do what needed to be done. But, Brandon Johnson looks at the streets of Chicago and the gang members and the fact that they have guns on them as some type of entitlement. Oh, we can't go around stopping and frisking these young black males. Oh, what would people think of me? The mayor, the black mayor of Chicago, and I'm putting the police out there to prey on our young people. So instead of doing that, he'd rather have 35 shot and 5 dead by not doing what needs to be done. Because there's really no other no other explanation for what's going on. Why wouldn't you use the tools available to you to fix this problem? He did also add, I am profoundly grateful for the swift life-saving work of our Chicago Police Department, medical professionals, and the Office of Emergency Management and Communications. To support those affected, CPD is opening an emergency assistance center in the community. I guess you're going to be able to go down there to the Crisis Assistance Response and Engagement. Oh, it spells CARE. Don't you love a good acronym? The program remains fully active and will begin canvassing the neighborhood on Monday. Residents in need of mental health support. Because, your neighborhood gets shot up, and they give you a phone number. So you could talk to someone on the phone about the horror that you witnessed when people were being mowed down by guns. Don't expect it to change, though. We'll give you the number to call so you could talk to a shrink and go, oh, my God, that was awful. I saw horrible things, blood and guts. And then when you go outside again, it'll just be business as usual because he will not have done anything to actually try to remedy the problem. John over here in the Bronx wants to talk a little bit about Brandon Johnson. John, what's up, man?
First time caller. Yes, Brandon Johnson, and I don't think jail time will do anything for these people. They need to be humiliated. They should go back to like Singapore, flogging. He should be flogged in the streets.
Flogging. Yeah, there's something to be said. A lot less corruption, a lot less bad jobs being done by politicians when they were brought out of their office and flogged or put in those the stocks. They'd put them in the center of town and put their head and arms through the wood thing and then throw cabbage at them. Apparently back then there was a lot of rotten cabbage. I don't know why, but you would lob it at their faces. A little shame for a job horribly done. I like your take there, John, because what's going to change? I guarantee they'll chalk up a few more tonight, and Johnson won't do anything. He also was approached about holding the parents responsible for these teen takeovers. And here was his answer to that. This is AC6, if you would please play that clip.
Know what criminalization does. particularly for more vulnerable communities. It has not led to creating safer spaces. We have to do what works. So I'm going to continue to call for the level of opportunity and investment.
I don't think that you find the poor as a means to fix a problem. And I'm unapologetic about saying that. Finding the poor in poverty-stricken communities to fix a problem that is systemic, a problem that revolves wraparound services, and a problem that will require for us to reimagine and reinvest in neighborhoods from which these children are coming from.
See? Do you see? He doesn't want to do anything about it. They wanted to fine the parents $1,000 if their kid is involved in one of these teen takeovers. Now, I don't know how much that would work, but it's something kind of proactive. It's not opening the doors to the YMCA thinking the kids are going to want to go down there and play, checkers? Play trouble with the Pop-O-Matic? What? They're not. They want to do donuts in their cars and set stolen cars on fire and jump on top of them in intersections of roadways in Chicago. That's a lot more fun than going to the YMCA. But it's illegal, and you got to stop them from doing that. And fining the parents. First of all, you wouldn't see a dime of the money. There wouldn't be one parent of one of these kids that would actually go, oh, boy, we're going to have to pay $1,000 because Junior decided he was going to go out and do a teen takeover. So that wouldn't really do much, but making the parents aware, making the kids aware that what they're doing is illegal and there will be some consequence for it, that's a start, because this guy won't do anything. You never hear about any arrests being made for pretty much anything in Chicago. There's a lot of shootings, a lot of murder. And when you hear the story, it's like, well, no suspect's been arrested. And we don't have a motive. Yeah, everyone keeps their yap shut. They take care of all their business in-house. Gangs tend to do that. They don't run to the cops and give them a description of the assailant and the reason why they believe they fired into a crowd. Within the next few days or weeks, what you get is another shooting and another body in retribution to what was done. That's called a gang problem. And as the mayor, that's your job. That is your job to take care of that and make sure that justice is swift and effective. And this guy doesn't want to do anything. Because perish the thought, they look at him and see that they are of similar skin color. And that apparently is the most important thing in the world to Brandon Johnson, is to make it look like he's not holding people that are the same color as him responsible for some of the horrible actions that are going on in Chicago. That's more important to Brandon Johnson than actually keeping those people in the black communities safe. He'd rather watch them die than do something about it and come off like, someone that's working for the man, trying to put more black brothers in jail. You can't do that. Sometimes you have to, irregardless of what their color are. Irregardless. I know it's not a real word from what I hear. All right. Don't go anywhere. Back in a moment.
Stage in the world. FanDuel is changing the game with Super Sub. If your play gets subbed off, your bet stays in. That's right. Your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.